Hello everyone, thanks for joining us here on Horizon. Well, we often hear about a looming worldwide water crisis. Just within the next 10 years, industrialization and population growth is expected to double the world's water consumption. But what if that very demand could be the solution to the problem? Today, we're going to be looking at the economics of water, and we begin with water reuse. Joining me now is Randy Barth.
Well, Rob, water is like gold here in Oklahoma, and how that water is used is important and always up for debate. Now, here's a quick rundown of the top 3 water uses here in the state. Now, irrigation is the largest at 40%, public water use comes in at around 30%, and livestock and aquaculture, well, that's about 12% of our overall water use. And with the drought lingering, water conservation is a top concern, causing some communities to look to new water use solutions.
Water, the lifeblood of our planet, and for Oklahoma farmers, critical for production.
The biggest uses of water right now in the state of Oklahoma are irrigation, of course. We use about 40% of our water for irrigation. A lot of that water comes actually from groundwater supplies.
Gary Fox is the interim director for the Oklahoma Water Resources Center at OSU and says the best way to identify the various water uses is by looking to the rainbow.
You know, an easy way to kind of think about water and to explain water sometimes is to think about water as being different colors. So there's our blue water, which is our water in our rivers and our streams and our lakes and our groundwater. And that's the water that we use a lot of times for drinking water supply or maybe even for irrigation. There's also green water. Green water is water that would in general be water that's stored in the crop profile that would eventually be used for plants and that can be used to grow crops and food.
And then there's gray water, the water that's collected after things like showering, washing hands, and doing laundry. And for the city of Lawton, they hope to reuse that water for other purposes. Afsana Jabbar is the Assistant Director of Water and Wastewater for the city.
At this point, we use about 3.5 million gallons of it a day for industrial purposes.
Currently, the Public Service Company of Oklahoma is the only user of gray water in the city. Yet Jabbar believes if the drought persists, gray water will be crucial in the city's future water plans.
We have had low rainfall events since 2009, and especially since 2011. Our water resources are depleting. Right now we have 43.5% of capacity left.
And the city of Lawton is not alone. In 2012, Oklahoma lawmakers passed the Water for 2060 Act, a statewide effort to consume no more fresh water in 2060 than we did in 2012. And with the drought lingering, Fox says conservation efforts must improve.
We're starting to see low water levels in our rivers and our streams and our water supply reservoirs and our irrigation supply reservoirs. For example, in the Lugar-Altus Irrigation District, we're seeing that we're about 9% of capacity. And again, that just puts more focus and more of a need for people to understand that maybe what they do, even in their daily water use, affects the entire hydrologic cycle because things are all connected. And so we need to make sure that we use the water as efficiently as we can use it.
And so the city of Lawton is working to reuse its gray water for more than industrial purposes. Yet Jabbar says the city and the state have a long way to go.
The state of Oklahoma doesn't have any regulation for this type of reuse. So of course we have to start some kind of negotiation with them. Most likely we will be one of the first few who will implement this plan because of where we are located at.
And Jabbar says the city is conducting studies and creating a plan to reuse gray water for residential use, even for drinking. And while the plan is still in its infant stages, Jabbar says the people of Lawton are their first priority.
The safety of people will be the most important thing. We will have redundancy and we will even overtreat to make sure that safety and health of the public is taken care of.
A first step on the long road to water conservation.
Well, now Lawton isn't the only community scrambling for more water. Across the border in Wichita Falls, Texas, they're already reusing their water. The difference? They're treating their black water, which is flushed down the toilet. And Rob, it is important to know that Lawton is only wanting to use their gray water, which again is water from showering, washing your hands, and using the washing machine.
Now, if you will, go back to the Water for 2060 Act. Aside from the conservation measures, what other things can Oklahomans expect?
Well, Rob, a huge factor in accomplishing the 2160 Act is replacement and repair of our infrastructure in terms of water. A lot of our water infrastructure in the state hasn't been repaired since the 1930s, and in order to accomplish our 2460 goal, we're going to need to have these systems repaired and replaced with more up-to-date systems.
All right. Thank you so much, Andy. Important story.
You're welcome, Rob.
Now, when we return, my conversation with economist and author David Zetlin on the end of abundance.